Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 21st Annual Rutgers Jewish Film Festival. This is just about the end of the first week of the festival, and we've had some terrific Zoom talks, a wonderful opening night with Ulcie Perry, the star of the film about his life, which I highly recommend if you didn't get to watch it. Last night we had a wonderful talk back with H. Alan Scott from Latter-day Jew, which we showed in our festival last year, and we repeated it again this year in partnership with the Central New Jersey Jewish Film Festival. Those talks are available on our website if you missed them. You can go back to the speakers tab on the Bildner Center website under biographies, and you'll find the talk listed under the film name and the speaker's name there. So if you miss any of the talks, that is your opportunity to catch them at a later time. I'm Karen Small, and I'm the director of the Film Festival, and I want to introduce Sarah Portilla, who is our program coordinator here at the Bildner Center and oversees all the logistics, everything having to do with the festival to make it happen. That is Sarah. So we're going to be sharing the platform here today a little bit as we get started. I also want to thank Hannah Feldman, who is standing by for any tech concerns that we have. I want to make a couple of quick announcements before we start the program about Honeymood. We have added a speaker for the film Mrs. G Sunday night, November 15th, this Sunday night at 7 p.m. Karen Ben-Horin, who is a co-writer of the film Mrs. G, will be joining us for a discussion about that film. So please, if you have a chance over the weekend to watch that wonderful, it's a very fun documentary about the creator of the Gotek swim line, and then log in for the talk. And the other talk we have planned on Sunday, which we're also very, very excited about, is with Academy Award winning director Caroline Link. She is Zooming in with us from Germany. She is the director of the film Nowhere in Africa, which we brought back this year as a festival favorite, and the brand new film When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit. So she directed both of those films, and she will be speaking with us on Sunday at 12 noon. Please sign up for the Zoom talk. We hope you can join us and watch the films beforehand or after if you don't have a chance. Today, we are going to be talking about the film Honeymood, and we are delighted that the director, Talya Lavie, will be joining us from Israel. Talya is on a very tight shooting schedule and speaking schedule. So we only have her for a very short time today, as she has another speaking gig actually at 1:30. So we asked everyone to join a little bit early today so we could be on the call and be ready for her when she joins us at 1 o'clock. And we thought it would be kind of fun, and most of you probably got my email, to share a couple of our own fun, quirky, strange wedding stories to share with you and just warm up the crowd a little bit before Talya joins us for a Q&A. So I could tell you my own quirky wedding story about my wedding in the rose garden of our synagogue, the 17th year of the locust in Louisville, Kentucky. I think that probably says it all, right? It was the year of the locust. We were outside. It was a hot day in May. The guests were not so thrilled. But I know Sarah has a story that she'd like to share. And then we're going to call on a couple of people, at least one person in the crowd, to share her story.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Sarah. I'm so happy to have all of you here, and we hope you enjoyed the film. My quick little wedding story was actually about my parents. They decided to get married in 1975. They were 21 years old. They were still in college. And they announced that they were getting married, and my mother's mom, said to them, well, I need 3 months for a winter wedding and 9 months for a summer wedding. So what are you doing? And they immediately just said, oh, I guess we're going to do this soon. So they picked a wedding date, not realizing that it was actually Super Bowl Sunday, 1975. And they got a lot of harassment from their guests about being married on Super Bowl Sunday. But the guests did manage to listen on the radio in the parking lot a little bit, and also, joke with them. Every year since then, we wish them happy anniversary on Super Bowl Sunday, kind of like the Jewish holidays. They, just whenever they are, that's when their anniversary is. So, they do like to celebrate every Super Bowl Sunday and wish each other a happy anniversary.
That's great. That reminds me of a film in the past that was about a bar mitzvah. It was an English film, and it ended up being on the same day as the World Cup. And so all the guests, I can't think of the name of it, but all of the guests, of course, because they made it into the World Cup that year, I think it was 66, wanted to go to the World Cup and not the bar mitzvah, but that's how these world events happen. Well, I'd like to thank Sheila Kane, who offered to share her story. And Sheila, let's see, I see you there. Could you turn on your camera and whoops, there she is.
Hello, and you can unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you now. Hi, Sheila. Would you like to share your story with us?
Yes. I got married at age 21. My husband was 23 in 1960. And of course, as starry-eyed young people, romantic, we got married on Valentine's Day in 1960. It was a snowstorm that weekend, so many guests could not come. We had our ceremony. I had to get dressed at the synagogue, had to carry my gown in the taxi, couldn't get dressed at home because of all the snow. And after the goodbyes and the rice throwing, and of course we played My Funny Valentine and had hot pink dresses for our bridesmaids, the whole shabeel, to make it Valentine's Day. And we left New York City, Kennedy Airport, to fly down to Florida to have our honeymoon at the Algiers Hotel, which no longer exists. Much years later, we took our children to show them the Algiers Hotel where their parents started out. And we're riding up and down, and there's no Algiers Hotel there anymore. But to get back to 1960, we finally got to the hotel about 1 o'clock in the morning after an exhausting, grueling day. And of course, we looked like brand new honeymooners, and there were a lot of older people, older men in the lobby. And they looked at us and started harassing us with all the jokes and the honeymoon jokes and everything. And we turned beet red. Finally got our keys, went past all of these older gentlemen that were making fun of us, went into our room, unlocked the door, all ready to get into our honeymoon suite and all excited, opened the door, and there in our bed is another couple looking at us. Luckily, they were sitting up. And we were flabbergasted. What are you doing in our bed? So it seems they also got married on the 14th, came down from Canada, and they were accidentally put in the wrong room. So after, going back and forth and straightening it out, and they got into their room, we stayed in our room, and we became wonderful friends, shared the rest of our honeymoon together. I had a wonderful time with them, visited them in Canada. They visited us in New York, and we had a wonderful honeymoon. But that was a surprise.
It sounds like it. Sheila, thank you so much for sharing. That is a great story and fits in so well with our film today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have Kurt and Kim Donnelly. Let me just see if I can get you up on the screen.
Oh. Hi, Talya. Welcome.
Oh, and there's Talya.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, thank you for joining us. We are sharing a couple of funny wedding stories as we were waiting for you. So we have one more that you'll get to listen into. Let's see if I can get them to unmute. Okay, Kurt, you
Hello?
are on.
Hi.
Hi.
So Kim is here also. Let's see, it's a long time ago. We had our honeymoon in Scandinavia and we had a rail pass and we were in Norway and we decided to take a sleeper to Sweden. And turned out we were only entitled to a third class ticket. And we landed up in a shared compartment, my wife, Kim, me, and 4 other men on my wife's our honeymoon. So there we were. So feel free to use that someday.
Sounds quite eventful. Well, hopefully it wasn't eventful, actually. Thank you.
Just embarrassing.
Well, thank you for sharing. Okay. Okay, so Sarah, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I'll get started with Talya. Hi, Talya. Welcome. I'm Sarah.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you. We know you're on a tight schedule today, so we'll jump right in. As you can see, we were asking people about their funny wedding and honeymoon stories. So we were just, curious if there was something special or a specific story that inspired your film. Was there a story that came along with it, or just out of your own imagination?
Well, it was definitely my imagination. Maybe I should say my fears. And it's like I wrote when I started writing the script. It was in a period in life when I was very occupied with questions about commitments and relationship. So it's not biographical, but it's really like I wrote down my fears, and I always liked romantic comedies, and I noticed that they often end up with a marriage, and I always wondered what happened right after this ultimate happy ending, and Honeymood starts exactly there.
Yes, it was very funny and quick-witted, and the banter between the two leads was just so fun. Were they able to improvise at all, or was it really scripted?
Well, I always prefer scripted dialogue, and I think that great actors are those who make someone else's text their own. And so I'm so happy that you asked that question, because they are so good, and they make it sound like they make it up on spot. So I apologize for my English, by the way.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You're doing great.
So of course they put in their personality and and their soul inside the characters, but it's actually scripted.
It was great. And one of the things we were so enamored with was the kind of the tour of Jerusalem that you gave everybody on this epic adventure, right? And so I was just curious, how did you choose Jerusalem? You could have picked anywhere, I guess, right? I mean, anywhere in Israel that was recognizable, or?
No, I actually, it's much more simple than that. I was just, the film is based on a short story that I wrote while living in Jerusalem as a student. And so I spent a long time in Jerusalem, and it was my home. So when I imagined the story, I imagined it there. And also, with the special spirit of the city, and the special people and the weirdos that you get to meet there on the streets. So it wasn't like that I did not choose the location. It was like built in the story from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that anyone who has taken a taxi ride in Jerusalem has encountered a taxi driver who just, bears their soul in some way to you, right? I mean, have an epic conversation with them about something spiritual or something, relating to politics. There's always something to be said and some way, so I definitely appreciated that because I felt like I was back in, the streets of Jerusalem with my own taxi driver stories. So,
Oh, that's nice.
So when the bride and groom are together in the film, it feels like they're based in reality. And then when they separate, there's just all this like fantasy kind of woven in to the story. Can you talk a little bit about your the way you went about that, or why you chose that type of style?
The what kind of style? I'm sorry. Can you
Just
ask
that they started out like together. It seemed like there was, they were based in reality, and then they kind of went into this fantasy
Oh,
when they were separate from each other.
Well, I'm not sure there's a big difference between the surreal scenes and the more realistic ones. I mean, I see it more as a process. The more the night advances, the more room there is for these moments that go beyond realism. The thoughts, dreams, and wishes of the characters that are being expressed in the scenes are not less real to me than, say, the dialogue between the bride and groom when they are together.
Absolutely, I understand that too, I guess. Is there something specific that inspired that fabulous dance number?
Oh,
with the security guards.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. It's not something specific. The entire tone of this scene is inspired by like classic Hollywood romantic comedies, and also, by filmmakers that tend to do these shifts between realism and fantasy, such as the Coen brothers. And but really, the scene started from when I was a student in Jerusalem. I once, walked on the street very close to the prime minister home. I was not aware of that, and then a guard, came by and asked me to move to the other side of the street. And I said, why? And he said, oh, because the prime minister and his wife are taking a walk here. And so it was nothing. It just, and then I saw them walking, with a lot of guards. And I think that the idea for the scene started there.
Yeah, somebody actually asked in the chat, was the scene of the prime minister's bodyguards an homage to anything specific? And you, obviously, based in reality, you had that experience happen. I mean, it's so funny to think about the prime minister and his wife going for a walk and just being surrounded by, it's not like a nice, pleasant, like stroll with your partner. It's it's a whole production.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the things that we were chatting about when we watched this film is whether you think this couple is meant to be, like, is this marriage going to last? Are they meant to stay together?
Well, I always think that, I'm responsible for the characters as long as they are in the film. So I don't really know, but I really hope so. I hope it works for them. I really love them together.
Did it take a long time to find those two actors to work together? Was it a very long process to like find that chemistry?
Yeah, definitely. It was a long process of casting, and I met so many. I auditioned so many great actors and actresses, and but the chemistry between those two was just perfect for what I imagined.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it's Roberta or Bob is asking, is it typically safe for a woman to walk around in the wee hours of the morning in Jerusalem like that?
Like everywhere in the world, it's never really safe for women.
a very good point. We like to live in the fantasy where the security guards are just ready to do dance numbers with with the women in the street at the wee hours of the morning. So your first feature film, Zero Motivation, won like a top award at Tribeca, and we've been, I heard that it's been in the works to be made into an American TV series. How is that still happening? Has COVID kind of affected the production for that?
Well, COVID has affected everything, as we all know, and it's still in process, so I really cannot give so much details about it yet.
But it's coming.
Hopefully.
Wonderful. And you're in production right now, right? I mean, you have something that you're working on.
Right now I'm in production for an Israeli TV show for Hot Israeli TV. That's the name of the channel. Mm-hmm. And so in shooting right now. I mean, in these days.
The Israeli TV market has really exploded in the U.S. Are there talks about it, coming to American TV as well?
You mean in general?
In general, are those conversations happening?
Well, not really, not anything that I know of, but sometimes, when I hear, I think it's relevant only, when the TV series is ready, or that is like co-produced with America. But about the thing that I'm doing right now, I don't know yet. So hopefully
we can cross our fingers and
definitely that would be great.
Soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just want to, I'm going to start looking through the list of questions that we're getting from the chat, because I see that there's a bunch of things coming in. Karen, did you see anything specific that you wanted to pull out?
Sure. I don't know. I think I disappeared from the screen, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question, Talya. Is there a name for the genre of movie where, like in Honeymood, all the action takes place in a single night? And this is a question from Kurt and Kim, who also say, by the way, they love the movie. Where can they buy a copy?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, it's I don't know if there's a specific name. I know they call this genre a one night in. I don't know. It's you probably know better. But there's tradition of films that take place during one night. Of course, one of the famous of them is After Hours by Scorsese. Maybe that's the most famous and greatest. But there are many films who takes place during one night, and I like this limit, this dramatic limit.
Mm-hmm. It was so effective with this film, where it starts out. It really framed so well with starting out with them on their way into the honeymoon suite, and a whole night of adventure, and then ending up in the cab back in love on their way back to the hotel. So it was a beautiful framing device in the one night.
I see another question by Yossi. He's asking, can you tell us a little bit more about the choice of characters for the parents? He said they're great. And why the English movie name is, and why is the English movie name always so different from the Hebrew name?
Oh, well, I think it's not, well, first, I also think the parents are great. They are both great, very well-known Israeli actors. I'm very proud to have them in the movie. Why is the English name is because translation is also a form of art. That's what I believe. That many times, if you do the direct translation, because each language is different, and the meaning of everything is different. So I always try to think, what if the movie was in English to begin with? What would be the title of it? I think also that great translations sometimes change the words but keeps the real meaning of them.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, I feel a little disembodied here because I don't know how to get my photo back on the screen. So sorry about that. But it's so interesting, you know, in researching the film and looking into it. Every time I typed in Honeymood into the Google box, I got honeymoon because it assumed I made a mistake. But the way that you invented this word of honeymood, it really captures, I think, the flavor of the film, because we've got what would have been a traditional honeymoon, but this whole other scenario that occurs. I think it was really a terrific name for the film. So I have
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a question from Leslie. I'm gonna try to summarize it a bit. She asks, is the film arguing that Noam and Eleanor cannot have the perfect wedding that Eleanor has fantasized about, or the traditional wedding that, that Noam wanted because of their upbringing and perhaps having been spoiled or infantilized by their parents? So could it be that there couldn't be the perfect wedding for either of them because they each wanted something different?
No, I don't think the film does not claim that. Is that the right word? It does not. It's not like the meaning of the film. I mean, it's okay if person who watches it feels this way, but it was not the initial meaning of it. I think that there, you know, we watch a lot of great stories about like closed societies, traditional societies of different. You know, when people are forced to get married to a certain type, and I thought, and it's very dramatic, you know, when somebody decides to leave the family tradition or to stick with it and to give up true love, and I think that I was interested in something about the so-called liberal society when you're a person who get to choose whoever you want, and when you're a free person, and to see how limited you are also when you are supposedly free. You always have the limitation of the society that you live in, also if it's so-called liberal. That's the kind of thoughts that I had while making the film.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You know, Sarah mentioned earlier that your first film, your first debut feature film, Zero Motivation, won the top prize at Tribeca and several other awards. And Honeymood also was in the Tribeca Film Festival. Would you share with us what that was like for you to have your films in Tribeca Film Festival, and particularly we'll go back to Zero Motivation, your experience?
Well, it was an amazing experience for me to be with Zero Motivation in a Tribeca Film Festival, and to win those big awards that we got there, and I love New York City, and it was just fantastic, and I really was so happy to go again, you know, to go there again with this film, but then. You know, the festival was the festival as it was planned was canceled like a few weeks before it was supposed to start because of the COVID-19, and I was very disappointed that we couldn't go there. I really hope you know, I really hope I could be there again and screen my film there. It was really superb.
Right. Of course, we were thrilled to see a few Israeli films that were supposed to play in Tribeca this year, and then that they still were able to, in some way, through a virtual world, have the films and at least let us know that you were nominated in Tribeca and supposed to be there. Yeah, we were thrilled about that.
There's a question here from Terry Maines asking about the choice of creating a character with a mental illness, and why was Noam drawn to her specifically?
Well, you can say that about anyone. I guess that he loves her. She's you could say that she's as you say, mental ill, but you could say that she's a person full of life and desire, and you couldn't argue about her not being a boring person.
So she certainly challenges him, right? She pushes
she
pushes his limits.
Yeah, I think that she's not everybody's type, but I think that it's important to have more. I think that we are more we used to more male crazy characters, to like male characters who are crazy or murderers, or I don't know, like very negative, and we still like them. And when we see female character who is so off what we so unnice, and I don't know how to say that, she's not sweet and nice, so it's sometimes harder for the audience to like her. I have no picture here. Do you still hear me?
Yep, we can still hear you, and we can see you too.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, you can. Very challenging, and I like her. I think she's.
Do we cut out a little bit?
With her, so the answer is that he fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Talya, would you talk a little bit about Eleanor's ex-boyfriend, the film student?
Yeah. Well, first, he's played by a really great actor, Elisha Banai, and he's like the kind of like you would say the cliche of a film student, of a young director, very ambitious, and I actually identify the character. He's like the ex. What can I say about him? He's her ex-boyfriend, and he's well, when you get to see him, you get to see what her previous life was like with him, and what was the root of her choice of Noam, and why she still misses something in this old relationship. Like I said before, it's all about love. You cannot, you fall in love with certain people, and the movie shows you the different types and how big the choices are, for the rest of your life.
Right, absolutely. Sandy is actually asking, are we supposed to believe that they actually that she actually slept with her ex-boyfriend, or was he just trying to get under the skin of Noam?
Are we supposed to believe that he's her ex-boyfriend?
No, that they slept together the night of the wedding.
Oh, yeah. If we're supposed to believe that?
Yeah, or that it was just him saying that to push his buttons.
Oh, Talya, I think you froze.
Yeah, I think we're really.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can still hear you.
Oh, okay.
Just yeah, your picture is frozen now.
But I don't think we quite, you froze a little bit when you were giving that answer. So would you mind repeating that about the wedding night and the ex-boyfriend?
The question was if we are supposed to believe that. I did not really get it, maybe.
That the night of the wedding, that did she sleep with her ex-boyfriend, or was the ex-boyfriend just trying to push Noam's buttons?
Yeah. I my answer is that you see what happens there, and you see what this guy tells him. So I don't like to over-explain, the film.
No, I understand that. do you have favorite directors that inspire you? And somebody's also Frankie Bush is asking, what is the theme and name of the television project that you're working on?
Oh, what is the theme? Well, it's about two young 20-something roommates in Tel Aviv. We did not translate it yet to English. It's in the middle of shooting, so hopefully I'll have more details about it soon. And what was the other question?
Who are your favorite directors?
Oh, I have so many favorite
Sure.
directors. Before, I really like Coen Brothers, and I like Wes Anderson. Fellini is my favorite director, and many, many more.
Wonderful. And then somebody was asking, Roberta or Bob was asking, what is the Hebrew name of the film in translation? So it's Honeymood in English.
Honeymood in English, and in Hebrew it's Echad Balev.
So like one heart, like
one in the heart. It's like part of the say one in the heart, one in the mouth, if you know what it means. It's an English. It's a Hebrew say. It says one Echad Bapeh, Echad Balev. One thing you say and one thing you feel.
So yeah, it does seem to be a lot about communication and communication styles and what is said and unsaid, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that I know that you have
another
talk.
I have to go to a different interview now, but it was a really pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you so much. As you can see, people really enjoyed the film, and I'm sure that there will be plenty more who view the recording afterwards as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'd love to hear more about the TV series as it progresses, if you can keep informed.
Sure, definitely.
Okay, thank you again. Have a great day. Good luck with your next talk.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. I think I can pin you now. There, you're back.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I had a couple of people ask about the recorded talks. If you go back to the Bildner Center website and look under speaker biographies on the film festival page, that's where you will find them. Also, I wanted to mention that Talya's first debut film that we were talking about, Zero Motivation, is available on Amazon Prime, if you're interested in watching that. And it's interesting just from hearing who the director she likes, Wes Anderson, the Coen brothers, we can see some influences on her films. This sort of a quirky, funny, quirky sense of humor that she portrays. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope to see you on Sunday at our next group of talks. Have a great weekend.